Hi everyone, this is Mr. Draper and this is our dribble intro. For our stance, we want to get wide, we want our feet shoulder width apart, we want to get low, we want to bend our knees and get in an athletic stance, and we want to relax our fingers. We always dribble with our fingertips and our finger pads. We also want to dribble below our waist and close to our body. Okay, we don't want to dribble away from our body and we don't want to dribble really high in the air. Now for our younger kids, we want to use two hands. If you have to, that's totally fine. If the ball's a little too heavy for you, you can use a bouncy ball. But using two hands just to get the hang of how to dribble is totally fine in this intro. So notice how I'm bending my wrist. I'm pushing the ball down with my fingertips. I don't have my hand flat and slapping at the ball like I am there. That's not what we want. Okay, we don't want to hear a slapping sound. We want to bend our wrist, push that ball down at the ground, and then the ground will bounce the ball back up into our hand. So we're going to start with 10 stationary right-handed dribbles, okay, dribbling below our waist, close to our foot. Nice athletic stance. We're then going to go to 10 left-handed stationary dribbles. Now, after the 10 left-handed stationary dribbles, we're going to do what we call a crossover. So we're going across our body, still using our fingertips, using both hands. We're then going to go to 10 low dribbles. So that's going to be below our knee. 10 low dribbles with our right hand, and then we're going to go 10 low dribbles with our left hand. We're then going to try something called a figure eight. So this is for the more advanced players. Notice I'm making like a sideways, almost like an infinity sign, a sideways number 8, or a sideways snowman going between my legs and then using my other hand and going the other direction. So using both hands. We're then going to do a weave. So we're practicing our crossover, which we already did stationary. Now we're moving, dribbling in between the cones, switching hands, and we're calling that one the weave. We are then going to go to a right-handed dribble. So 10 times right-handed dribble at the first cone, 10 left-handed dribbles at the second cone, and then 10 crossover dribbles at the third cone. And then we're going to do the same thing on the way back. So 10 right-handed dribbles right here with the right hand, 10 left-handed dribbles, and then 10 crossover. This next one we're going to call the dribble stop. So in basketball, you often have to dribble and then stop your momentum and then continue dribbling. But when we stop our momentum, we don't want to stop our dribble, because then if we start dribbling again, that's called traveling. So we want to dribble to the cone. We're going to slow down. Notice I keep my dribble, but now I'm standing still. My knees are still bent though, and I'm still in an athletic stance. After the dribble stop, we're going to go to the dribble and touch the cone. So this is a little more difficult. We're dribbling with our right hand first, bending down, keeping our dribble, touching the cone with our left hand, and then dribbling backwards. So sometimes in basketball, you actually have to dribble backwards as well. Or if there's a defender behind you and you want to protect the ball, you want to keep your back against them to make sure that they don't steal the ball. So we're dribbling, bending down, touching the cone with our opposite hand, and then dribbling back to the start. Now we're going to go with our left hand, dribble, keeping it below our waist, using our fingertips, just like we taught you at the beginning, bending down, touching the cone with our opposite hand, and then dribbling backwards. Also, feel free to pause this video at any time and do the exercise, and then you can go ahead and restart it, see what the next one is, and then practice that, and then just keep going with the video. We're now going to go to between the legs. So we're going to do 10 between the legs dribbles. So I'm going with my left hand between the legs, my right hand between the legs, and just keep switching off between your right and left hand 10 times. Now our last progression is going to be for our more advanced basketball players. So this is going to be very difficult. This was actually very difficult for me as well. So we're dribbling the ball with one hand while we toss a beanbag and catch it with the other hand. So using hand-eye coordination, what makes it difficult is that you're pushing the ball down with one hand and you're tossing a beanbag up in the air with the other. So two different directions. You also need to keep your eye on the beanbag, which means you can't keep your eye on the basketball or else you're not going to catch the beanbag. So you got to make sure that you can feel where the basketball is at all times and make sure we keep our eye on that beanbag, do right and left hand.